She was supposed to testify. She was supposed to bring justice. Instead, her car was found in the woods, her belongings scattered, and a chilling note inside that read only 3 words: "He knows everything." The one woman who could put a suspected killer behind bars had vanished. In Part 1, we followed the case of Marcus Ellery, the mechanic who disappeared on a quiet Missouri night, and the only witness who claimed to see what happened, Claire Matthews. We watched as she stepped forward, naming a man who had haunted Ashford for decades, David DJ Holloway. And then, just days before trial, Claire vanished without a trace. Tonight, in Part 2 of the haunting mystery of the disappearing witness, we follow the investigation into her disappearance. An investigation that would uncover new evidence, overlooked clues, and disturbing truths about the man she feared most. A man who once said, "People see things they shouldn't. Sometimes they don't stick around long enough to repeat them." And the question we're left with is simple. Was David Holloway telling the truth all along? The discovery of Claire Matthews' car in July 2021 reopened wounds that had never healed. Construction crews widening a back road just 12 miles outside Ashford spotted a rusted-out sedan hidden under brush and vines. At first, they thought it was just an abandoned junk car, but when deputies ran the plates, the results sent chills through the sheriff's office. It was Claire's, the car she'd last been seen driving on February 28, 2019. Inside, investigators found fragments of her life, her hairbrush, the torn strap of her purse, a jacket she'd been seen wearing on doorbell footage the morning she vanished. But it was the note that drew the most attention. Stuffed inside the glove compartment, folded into quarters, were 3 words scrawled in uneven, hurried handwriting. He knows everything. For detectives, it was both a clue and a torment. Who was he, and what did he know? They went back to the beginning. Claire had left her apartment around 10 a.m. on February 28th. By 1 p.m., she had missed work. By 6 p.m., she was reported missing. Her phone went dark almost immediately after she walked out of her building. Cell tower pings showed her phone briefly connected near Highway 22, a route that eventually led toward the woods where her car would later be found. But after that, nothing. No credit card use, no bank withdrawals, no confirmed sightings. It was as if she had evaporated into thin air. Now, with the car found, detectives had a starting point. But the car's condition raised disturbing questions. The driver's seatbelt had been deliberately cut. There were no signs of a crash, no broken glass, no airbag deployment. It hadn't been abandoned after an accident. It had been placed there, hidden, and if that note was Claire's, then she had left behind her final warning. From the very beginning, suspicion had always circled back to one man, David D.J. Holloway. When Marcus Ellery vanished in 2018, Claire named Holloway as the man she saw struggling with Marcus near the industrial park. That testimony was enough for prosecutors to indict him, even without Marcus's body. But when Claire disappeared, the charges fell apart. Holloway walked free, and in the years since, he lived like a man untouchable. Still in Ashford, still smirking when asked about the case, still denying any involvement. Now, with Claire's car unearthed, investigators quietly began tracking Holloway again. They looked at his movements in February 2019, and what they found only deepened their suspicions. Cell phone records showed Holloway's phone pinged near the same Highway 22 corridor at nearly the exact time Claire's did on the morning she vanished. For years, that overlap had gone unnoticed, partly because prosecutors had been too focused on preparing for the March trial to pursue her disappearance fully. But in 2021, looking back, the connection was undeniable. Holloway's phone had been in the same region, the same morning, the same window of time. And when detectives pulled surveillance footage from nearby gas stations, they spotted something chilling. At 10:42 a.m., just 30 minutes after Claire left her apartment, cameras caught a dark pickup truck resembling Holloway's passing through an intersection with what appeared to be a sedan following close behind. The sedan matched the make and color of Claire's car. Then, in October 2021, investigators finally caught a break. A farmer who lived just a mile from where Claire's car was found came forward. He remembered something from February 2019, something that had never sat right with him. On the morning of February 28th, he had seen two vehicles parked near the tree line off the Old County Road, a dark pickup truck and a small sedan. He didn't know who they belonged to, but he recalled seeing a man near the vehicles, a man with a stocky build, shaved head, and a noticeable limp. Detectives showed him a photo lineup. Without hesitation, he pointed to Holloway. That's him. I'd bet my life on it. To understand why suspicion clung to Holloway so tightly, you have to look at his past. He grew up in Ashford, the product of a broken home and a reputation for violence. Arrests for burglary, drug trafficking, and multiple assault charges dotted his record. In 2004, he was accused of threatening a girlfriend with a knife. She later dropped the charges. In 2010, a bar fight left a man hospitalized with a fractured skull. Holloway was arrested but only served probation. In 2015, another girlfriend filed a restraining order claiming Holloway had stalked her, slashed her tires, and told her she would disappear like the others. Time and again, he slipped through the cracks. Witnesses recanted, evidence vanished, cases fell apart. And now, in 2019, the one woman willing to testify against him was gone. For Marcus Ellery's widow, Jennifer, the reopening of Claire's case was bittersweet. I lost my husband, and then we all lost Claire. She was brave enough to stand up when no one else would, and now she's gone too. It feels like we've been punished twice. Her voice broke. But I believe David Holloway knows exactly what happened to both of them, and I believe he thinks he's going to get away with it forever. Jennifer began organizing vigils. She pushed local media to cover the case again. She begged prosecutors not to let Holloway walk free a second time. Her fight kept the case alive when the system seemed ready to let it die. And then, in January 2022, detectives received a tip from a woman named Rachel Vaughn. Rachel had once dated Holloway. She claimed that in March 2019, shortly after Claire disappeared, Holloway had shown up at her house in the middle of the night. He was drunk, agitated, paranoid, and he said something she had never forgotten. They ain't gonna find her. She's with Marcus now, buried where nobody looks twice. Rachel admitted she hadn't come forward sooner because she was terrified. Holloway had threatened her before, but now, with the case back in the spotlight, she felt she had to speak. Detectives documented her statement, and suddenly, the pieces began to form a chilling picture. Armed with this new lead, investigators began focusing on a stretch of land Holloway had once worked on. In 2018, he had taken odd jobs clearing brush for a private hunting property outside Ashford. Cadaver dogs were brought in. Search teams combed the area. For weeks, they found nothing. Until one afternoon in March 2022, when a dog alerted near a shallow depression in the ground. When detectives dug, they found fragments of burned fabric, a woman's necklace, and what appeared to be small pieces of bone. Forensic testing was slow, painstaking, but the results stunned investigators. The fragments didn't match Marcus Ellery. They belonged to an unidentified female. And then came another breakthrough. In April 2022, detectives uncovered something that would change the trajectory of the case again. A nearby convenience store had old surveillance archives tapes dating back years. While combing through February 2019, detectives spotted Holloway's dark pickup truck. The timestamp? February 28th, 2019, 11:07 a.m. The truck appeared to be heading toward the wooded area where Claire's car was later found. But here's the part that sent shivers through the task force. On the passenger side of the truck, barely visible through the grainy footage, was what looked like a woman slumped against the window. Her clothing? A jean jacket? The same kind Claire had been wearing that morning. The discovery was explosive. It was the closest thing investigators had to proof that Holloway had been with Claire on the day she vanished. But if the footage was real, and if that was Claire in the truck, then the question became even darker. What happened after that moment? And where was she now? Because the fragments found in the woods suggested something sinister, but they didn't answer the biggest question of all. Had Claire been silenced forever, or was she still out there, somewhere, waiting for the truth to finally surface? In part 3 of The Haunting Mystery of the Disappearing Witness, we'll follow the evidence deeper through forensic breakthroughs, Holloway's chilling jailhouse confessions, and a shocking new tip that will turn the entire investigation on its head. What do you think? Was Claire Matthews silenced by the man she feared most? Or could there be another explanation, one that investigators haven't yet uncovered? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective could help keep cases like this alive. If this story gripped you, please take a moment to hit that like button. It helps bring more awareness to cases that deserve answers. And don't forget to subscribe to Evidence Uncovered so you don't miss part 3 of this haunting investigation. Because the truth doesn't just vanish, it waits.